Resentment. This is a topic that needs to be discussed, and a lot of people do not like to discuss resentment. Where the resentment comes from, it stems from anger, bitterness, even hatred towards someone. It's like you let it sit and you let it build up and it becomes resentment. So let me tell you a story. For years, I disliked my dad. I even told him one time, "You ain't my daddy," because he wasn't present for the first part of my childhood. So for him to come in and try to put his foot down and dictate, it was foreign to me. So I would tell him things like I hate him and you're not my dad. Aside from that, he had his set of beliefs and I had mine. And it was kind of hard to be able to deal with him. So throughout my teenage years, it was a constant battle. He would call, I would hang up. Or if he did come around, I would take the time out to sit and talk. But eventually, a lot of times, it ended up being arguments. Mainly because him trying to force his beliefs onto me. And I wasn't with it. I began to really have a dislike for him. Might as well say hate. And family members would try to, I would say, force the relationship between me and my dad. And I would tell them, leave me alone. Like, let me do this on my own. Like, you can't force me to do something I didn't want to do. And that was at that time. That was the mindset I was in. Like, you're not going to force me to have a relationship with my dad when you don't even know the half. And family members can be toxic too. They're not exempt, whether it's family or whoever. So that's how I felt at the time. So one night in Bible study, my bishop, he had prophesied and told me that there was a male figure in my life that God was going to repair the relationship. And I'm sitting here taking inventory, like, who could he be talking about? And my dad was the furthest thing from my mind. Well, lo and behold, as I got into my early 20s, we would talk. And again, the conversations would be the same, but I started not to hang up like I used to. And the more I got into the word, the more I got into begin to walk in my purpose, I knew that at the end of the day, I had to still show love. And I had to forgive myself first and forgive him for the things that he did, the things that he said. So I continued to do that. And was it easy? No, because at times it was hard for me to hold my tongue. Ooh. I had to sit there and be like, Lord, help me. Because sometimes I be wanting to go off on them. But respect, that's what I had to keep in mind. So I'm like, okay, Lord. And did this happen overnight? It took years to repair. And by the time I got into like my mid-20s, not only did I see a change in me, but I saw a change in him. The conversations were less and less about what he believed or coming against my beliefs, and more subtle and more of everyday talk, like how I'm doing and everything. So I'm like, okay. And then when things started to happen and everything, I continued to remain there and let him know that if he ever need me, I'm here. And that's what I did until the end, until he passed away. And the one thing I can say that I'm grateful for is, for one, forgiving. Two, forgiving myself. Forgiving him, number one. Two, forgiving myself. And three, for changing my heart. And four, for allowing me to be the light, regardless of what he thought about the way things should go or how life should be. Forever grateful that before he passed away, that we were able to have a good relationship. And I could say one of the best towards the end, because we would talk to each other like every other day, and we had our little code word and everything. And I was really at a point where I knew I had released all the resentment that I had from him, that anger, that frustration, that bitterness, that blame, and it's liberating. So today, I ask, who is it that you have to forgive? Because forgiveness is attached to a lot of things. Ask God to help you to forgive whoever it is. And it'll be a day at a time. Watch how things can change and turn around. And it did for me. Now, am I saying that every relationship that you repair means a re-entry? No, because some relationships, that's just the end of that season. But if you know that you know that you know what God through the Holy Spirit is saying to you, just follow through. Follow through with it. But resentment, it can't stay. It has to go.